Welcome to Help Stop the Genocide in American Ghettos podcast. I'm your host, Emmanuel Barbie. I am the founder, president, and CEO of GRCAM, the Grassroots Community Activist Movement. On this platform, we discuss authentic urban news across the diaspora. We are the Black media component of the Help Stop the Genocide in American Ghettos podcast. If you are joining us for the first time, please like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube page. We encourage our listeners worldwide to engage with us by leaving a public comment about the topic in the comments section. Disclaimer: this content is for educational and informational purpose only. It is based on public available reports and verified media sources. We fully comply with YouTube's community guidelines. We do not promote violence, hate, or misinformation in any kind. This audio podcast is available in two forms, audio and also as a written text, in order for us to reach our audience. Help Stop the Genocide in American Ghettos podcast. On here, we encourage our listeners to subscribe to my Medium page where you can follow along during the podcast. I provide my Medium transcript in the comments section below this audio podcast. I also provide the links to my backup Facebook page in the comments section below. I created this platform to give people on my Facebook page and people in my social groups who are Black artists, African artists, such as authors, comedians, fashion designers, filmmakers, models, musicians, poets, gospel singers, gospel spiritual leaders, as well as Black entrepreneurs, African entrepreneurs. Please make arrangements with me to come on this platform so that you can promote your books, your business, your music, or if you have a small ministry, share a 30-minute sermon with my listeners from the global community. After the show, I offer my guest speakers an incentive by teaching them how to create their own podcast, YouTube channel, and Wix website for their business or ministries. I also assist them with finding college grants, scholarships, and legal services, all for free. This business is not about me. It's about GRCAM members and their families. It's about improving our communities and meeting the needs of the African American community and the African immigrant community. It's my hope that we will build this movement together, a movement that will not put politics over our interests, a movement that refuses to let the same insiders who have done nothing for decades keep holding on to power without accountability. We're nonpartisan, we're independent, and we're not affiliated with anyone. Over here, we are M1, meaning we are melanated first. Our focus is on solving Black issues at the community level. I will never forget where I come from or who I'm fighting for. Let's make real change happen together. The Grassroots Community Activist Movement welcomes Black entrepreneurs, African entrepreneurs, Black artists, and African artists. Our aim is to move GRCAM from behind the internet into the big screen, and then eventually into the African American community, and provide a family friendly atmosphere rooted in solidarity and make a positive impact within the African American community as well as in the African immigrant community. I want to do more than just news and social commentary, but at this time, this is where I'm at. Without financial support from the Black grassroots and the global African family, then I am unable to do my God given assignment. I have been paying out of pocket for my business title since 2010. I pay the city, the state, and the IRS. This is why I have to make this docudrama in order to reach the Black masses and the Black world. The white man is not stopping Black Americans from buying my revised book. The white man is not stopping Black American from patronizing my virtual store. The white man is not stopping Black Americans from donating to my film project. That's a personal choice. That's Willie Lynch in real time, ladies and gentlemen, and that's what I am up against, a 400-year slave mentality. My film project is my last attempt to try to do to try to feel something constructive before I cut and run to Africa. Upcoming events. Wednesday, August 6th, we have guest speaker Reverend Edith Augustine from Ghana. Thursday, August 7th, we have Prophetess Ebang Clements from Cameroon. Friday, August 8th, we have Evangelist Ngunzi Noah from Nigeria. Tuesday, August 12th, we have Minister Rita from Nigeria. Thursday, August 14th, we have Apostle D. Prosper from Liberia. Saturday, August 23rd, we have Pastor Faith from Nigeria. And Monday, August 25th, we have Pastor Vivian from Tanzania. Please mark your calendar for our next monthly virtual interactive conference, which will be Saturday, August 30th, 2025. We encourage everyone on my Facebook page and everyone in my social groups who are Black artists and African artists. Join us in this virtual interactive conference. Everyone on my Facebook page, everyone in my social groups, such as authors, comedians, fashion designers, filmmakers, models, musicians, poets, gospel singers, spiritual leaders, as well as Black entrepreneurs and African entrepreneurs. If you're interested in being on this, to participate on this event, please send me a message to my Facebook inbox and include your email. And then, we could take it from there. Again, I like to share my platform. I'm not on here just trying to sell my book. That's important. Again, I wrote the book in order to generate capital so I can move my business from behind a computer. But, it is what it is, and I have my virtual store. Now I'm trying to do a film. So I'm doing the best that I can. Lord knows, 33 years, I am getting burnt out. This is getting tiresome. Trying to help my people that's trapped in American ghettos. Got little to no support for what I'm doing. And this is why I'm reaching out to African immigrants within the United States of America, as well as like-minded Black Americans beyond Chicago. But my goal still remains the same, to try to help our people that's trapped in American ghettos, starting here in Chicago. So I'm using this I want to share my platform with others that's trying to do positive things. So make arrangements with me so you can promote your books, your business, and your music. Although we don't have a physical building at this time, but again, we're doing the best we can. We're using this technology, the internet, and to broadcast what we're trying to do for Black Chicagoans and beyond. On this platform, we're genuine, sincere, transparent, and authentic. This event will help expand your network, enhance your profile visibility, and make more meaningful connection with the global community. So the theme is GCAM Black Business Affair 2025, where Zoom Live. Time 2 p.m. American Central Time, 3 p.m. Canadian Time, 8 p.m. West African Time, 9 p.m. South African Time, 10 p.m. East African Time, and 8 p.m. UK Time. Title of this presentation, quote, like-minded Black Americans should stand against this whites-only town in America. Here's why. Now, before I get into this, my audio podcasts, I want to encourage my listeners, and those that's, I would say that's actually watching this on YouTube. Um, I'm going to show you how to connect with me on my Medium page. So let's see. Just bear with me for a moment. Shouldn't take too long. All right, pulled it up. So, ladies and gentlemen, first of all, those of you that I would say my international friends from Africa, the UK, sorry, from Africa, Europe, and Canada, especially those of you and also from the Caribbeans and Latin America. But those of you that's on the African continent, I want to encourage you to listen to my audio podcast on Spotify. So that way you don't have to worry about eating up your bundles, because when you watch these videos, it's going to eat at your bundles, but it won't eat on your bundles as much if it's audio. So I'm trying to help you save some money in that area. So, but those of you that can afford this, this stuff, so don't worry about it. But here's my Medium transcript word for word what I say, because I like to put my ideas down in writing. So that way I don't be rambling, because I like to stay focused. And, I'm just doing the best that I can to move this business again from behind a computer. Know what I'm saying? So, what you do is you scroll down. Yes, because, yeah, my speeches are kind of lengthy. That's why I have to write it out. I can't remember all of this stuff. So, right here where it says show and prove, this is where I cite all my sources. So again, I come with receipts. I don't just like to just get online just to be running off at the mouth. I like to back up what I'm saying. But I found some interesting things. Um, I hope that I don't know if it's gonna let me pull it up, but I'm just gonna point some things out. I would appreciate for my listeners to click on this particular video. It's a TikTok video. It says the title of it, exactly why we have to stop supporting these folks. So it's going to be a brother that went into a Asian restaurant. Um, he didn't like the order that he placed an order, but it didn't come out the right way. Okay, and so he was trying to get his money back, and they act the fool on him. That's not, it's very disrespectful. But click on that so you can see it for yourself. um I'm just saying, I could click on it, but again, hey, I'm showing you the source. Okay. um Also, I would appreciate if you would click on this one right here. I think it's called Nadine Speaks on, sorry, not that one. Not that one. It's another one that I want to point out. Uh, so just bear with me. Trying to yeah, we're gonna get into this about this white only town and all that. But um again, I'm doing this for a reason because just wanted to point out some things. All right, here it is. I like for you all too when you get an opportunity. I mean, look at all the videos if you want. You know what I'm saying? All of them is educational, but I'm just trying to, point out some specific things. If you look at this one right here where it says the title, Engaging Black Audience, you click on that link, it's gonna, let you know that Black Americans as a collective, we hold $1 trillion. So that's good. You know what I'm saying? That's why white Americans don't really want Black Americans to leave. They want that money. But the problem is with Black Americans, truth be told, it's just too many of us that's too many of our people that's off code. And over here, I cannot build with some off code person. A lot of our people are paranoid. Some people come to me and saying, "Oh, that sounds like a scam. You selling a book." And when people talk to me like that, those are the kind of people, I just pray for them and just keep it moving. And again, like I say, if it was up to me, this business would have been up and running years ago. So, yes, Chicago, brothers and sisters here, I respect them, love. That's why I'm trying to start my business here. But it doesn't matter what inner city I go to, it's still going to be that slave mentality across the board in every inner city in the United States of America. So that's why we got to get it right here. And again, I don't apologize. Yes, I'm reaching out to African immigrants within the United States of America, 10 African nations. Very important that, they would just be willing to read my story. And, if they, I, shucks, I mean, I'm willing to take at least 15 people, you know what I'm saying? Shucks. I mean, I don't need a whole thousands of people, I just need a few people that's going to be on my management team that's going to help me run the business. But before I even do the business, we want to first do the film project because that's going to help pull in some revenue for me as well as those that's going to be on my management team that's going to help me run this business. Have to do a film, unfortunately, because a lot of our people don't like to read. It is what it is. I'm still going to push my book because that's the foundation of the business. So, well, anyway, this is all the stuff, ladies and gentlemen. I just wanted to show you. And, I do want to point something else out too, since I'm on this site. Anyway, this is our GoFundMe page. You click on there, you're going to see since January of this year, still um, from January all the way up to August, no donations, no donations at all. It's very frustrating. But I'm doing this because I want to prove to you, all my listeners, I'm trying to do something within my power. But one thing for sure, you know what I'm saying? Uh, I'm doing the best that I can, and this is my proof. not just sitting up here, just twiddling my thumbs. I come on here every week trying to talk about different topics, but I'm still trying to push the book, still trying to connect with like-minded Black Americans beyond Chicago, like-minded African immigrants throughout the United States of America. African immigrants, yeah, sorry, let me just rephrase that. Global Black African family on the continent. If you're serious about me trying to bring my business over to the continent, I need you all to step up. Step up, tell people um that have, some that have money, okay? Encourage them to purchase my book. My ebook is $9.99. That is as low as I can go. I'm on a shoestring budget because again, I have to pay for, my book to be on Amazon. That's not free. Everything is a cost. So I'm paying out, I'm actually losing money. It's very frustrating. But somebody has to do this. I believe in what I'm doing. I'm doing something to help the next generation. And my business is about raising the bar. And I want to make sure none of my members have to go through this type of foolishness when you're trying to do something productive, trying to build something, not just running off at the mouth. That's why I wrote my story. I wrote the vision and made it plain. But see, Black Chicagoans, I'm just using them as an example because this is where we're going to get the business. They want to see the business materialize. They want to see that, but they don't want to buy the book. They don't want to donate to the film project, and they don't want to buy items from the virtual store. So this is why it's taking so long. So anyway, yeah, our PayPal Giving Fund page is going to be zero. You watching? Just click on it and see, and then right here, buy me a coffee page. That's a new site I found trying to put myself out there as much as possible. That was zero a couple weeks ago, and so we'll see. But bottom line, asking all of my listeners, please purchase the ebook. You can download it to your smartphone, read my story for yourself. If you agree with my vision and plan to help improve Black America, then you will automatically become a GRCAM member. And then I would like for you to join my film project. Get behind that. Join my management team to help me run this thing. Help me be a part of the film project. Now, once we're able to raise that 250,000, then that's when I'm gonna go ahead and solicit different legitimate production companies. First, I'm gonna reach out to um, a Black American production company and see would they work with us based on our budget. And then, if not, I'm gonna reach out to an African, yes, immigrant production company and see would they be willing to work with us based on our budget. And if things doesn't work out, then I just reach out to a regular um, production company. But bottom line, I want to work with a production company that's a legitimate, that's already out there, that's seasoned. I want to have a seasoned film crew because I just want to make sure the film is going to be quality. I don't want to just make just because it's going to be low budget. I don't want it to be a flop. This is again, I'm putting my credibility on the line, trying to do my best to get my message out there. I'm gonna tell my story, and I'm gonna listen to suggestions to people that's gonna be on my film team, you know. And I'm giving you all that's actors, those of you that's I would say unknown or undiscovered artists, musicians. I'm giving you an opportunity to be a part of this. Yes, I'm willing to pay you and all that stuff. But first, I got to raise the capital, and We'll take it from there. And then I'm gonna shoot my second film in South Africa. That's the goal. I'm trying my best to get this thing popping. It's not easy. But we're coming against this slave mentality within Black society. We're also coming against that colonized mindset um, in the African immigrant community. And both groups are going to heal. We're going to learn how to work together. And I'm only responsible for GRCAM members, those that's not a part of us. Again, all we can do is just pray for them, show them tough love, and keep it moving. And I'm going to continue to share my story. Yes, it's been 33 years. It's not my fault. Again, I'm standing on business, trying to do something, build something productive for our people. So that way we don't sit up here and keep complaining about the white man and the government. I'm doing this to create jobs for our youth, get them off the streets. That's all I can do. All right, ladies and gentlemen, gonna get out of here with this and go on into my presentation. Bear with me. I'm having some issues with this. All right. Ran across an article from the Independent, a website based in the UK, entitled, quote, Whites Only Community Plotting Expansion to Another State as Its Efforts to Build a, quote, white nation continues, unquote. To read the entire article, just go to my Medium transcript located in the comment section below this audio podcast. Click on the link and scroll down to show and prove. Basically, the article is talking about a white supremacist group in remote Arkansas known as Return to the Land. They are trying to build a far right, ethno nationalist, white only community, just like Orania in South Africa. Orania's residents argued that its purpose is to preserve Africana culture and language. It has been described by outsiders as a quote unquote white only town and as a as an attempt to revive apartheid. In contrast, Return to the Land welcomes only people with traditional views and European ancestry. They are talking about expanding to Missouri. They describe themselves as a private membership association for individuals with traditional views and European ancestry. They opened their first community in October of 2023 and now consider a second state in Missouri. They are against mass immigration, multiculturalism, and forced integration. They don't welcome non whites, non Christians, or LGBT people. According to the article, its members are seeking to separate themselves from a failing modern society and return to pastoral living. Truth be told, America is failing because of white supremacy. The white supremacist financial elites had the richest country on earth, built by my ancestors, descendants of American slaves slash freedmen. They made trillions of dollars off the blood, sweat, and tears of my people. Now America is in debt because of racism. It is what it is. North America made trillions of dollars off of slave labor. Now America is in debt due to mismanagement. They prioritize foreign wars over building our nation. America tries to bully foreign countries and impose their own values on others. This is why other nations created BRICS, which stands for Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. They are creating their own currency to compete against the American dollar. For example, China used to be a poor country, but they decided to prioritize their nation and their people. America is failing because they don't know how to get along with other nations. Yeah, you're coming over to the African nation and want to impose that LGBT stuff, and in their culture, they don't want it. It's a double standard. They're not going to do that to the Arab countries because that's against the law over there. And truth be told, they will kill people that's LGBT. But yet they want to impose it on weaker countries like Africa. Let me just rephrase that: weaker nations that's on the African continent. They won't do that. Impose the LGBT in China. They don't stand for that stuff neither. But there we go again, this double standard. Notice these white supremacist financial elites never talk about going back to their homeland, which is Europe. If they are really serious about an ethno nationalist, they would return back to Europe because you want to be in your homeland. Europe is the homeland for white people. I don't understand why they don't want to go back to Europe and build there. The co founder, Eric Arwell, said the community has 150 acres of land and is currently home to 40 inhabitants. They have cabins, roads, wells, community centers, and a schoolhouse. It sounds like a fortress for the white race. Notice these groups of people always want to live in the past, such as make America great again, meaning I'm craving the past. Notice Black Americans are not living in the past. We're moving forward towards the future. I'm working towards that better future. To be honest, this sounds like they are trying to bring back legal segregation, which is Jim Crow. As Black people, we need to do the same thing. That is, that is what I've been trying to do for the past 33 years. We need to build our own Black institutions like the Grassroots Community Activist Institute of Chicago. Practice group economics so that we can purchase land and start building towns again, just like our ancestors did during Black Wall Street and Rosewood, just to name a few. Not to say that we are doing it to be hateful towards other groups. I want GRCAM members to build smart cities within the inner cities and have access to modern technology and amenities that comes with it. I read another article from The Hill um, entitled, quote, Whites Only Community Seeks Missouri Expansion. To read the entire article, just go to my Medium transcript located in the comment section below this audio podcast. Click on the link, then scroll down to show and prove. According to the article, it says, quote, a whites only group called Return to the Land, derived by critics as being racist and anti-Semitic. They're looking to expand their base in North Arkansas to Missouri, unquote. The co-founder of the group says the prospect of a growing white only community where members are evaluated based on European ancestry. This group has been raising money on social media and crowdfunding sites. They describe themselves as a private member organization. They began develop in 2023. They obtained 160 acres of land. Hmm. I'm just thinking, when I read the other one, it said something else. It said 150, so it doesn't matter. It's close. Uh, the co-founder of the group, Eric Orwell, Orwell, said that he hoped to expand to all 50 states. He said he wants to ensure that white Americans who value their ancestry will have the ability to live among like-minded people. Let's translate that into layman terms. According to the article, the co-founder said they plan to coordinate homeschool groups, healthcare networks, legal advocacy groups, and more, all of which would be barred for barred to people of color. Whites should have the ability to live among their own people if that's what they want to do. Mass immigration is making that nearly impossible in many Western nations. That's a lie. First of all, how are they getting around this constitutionally and legally? In North America, we have the Fair Housing Act. These white supremacists, they know how to find loopholes to get around the law. They label themselves as a private membership association so that they can say they are not selling or renting house housing to the public. They are a private club or an intentional community, and a Fair Housing Act does not apply to them. So, I mean, this is what we're up against, y'all, ladies and gentlemen. Um, I just, like I say, all I want to do, I just want to hurry up and, get this film project fully funded and made, turn the business over to my management team, and go to Africa and work with Africans that want more out of life. That's all. You know, because again, God give us free will, and I just, I really hate to, because things is going to get worse here in this country. Um, in other words, they're structuring their group as a private, religious, or cultural organization or association so that how they sidestep legal scrutiny. Family, this is why we need our Black attorneys for things like this. These white supremacists have their legal team intact and they can call on them to help them find loopholes. We need the same thing in order for us to be on top of our game. But again, like I say, it's been 33 years. And a lot of Black Chicagoans, they want to sit up here and laugh at me, taking me for joke. And it's just really frustrating. But the Lord knows. And like I say, if it wasn't for Jesus slash Joshua placing this on my heart, and if it wasn't for Sister Renee working with me, I would have left this stuff alone a long time ago. I would have left it alone because, truth be told, I care about our Black youth. But again, before I cut and run, I want them. That's why I want to get this business made here in Chicago to prove to them that I mean business. I'm not just some dude just running off at the mouth. but I need competent people that's going to be on my team. I've been preaching this to CAM members for 33 years. We need our own network of Black attorneys. I'm not talking about just volunteers or pro bono. If I could connect with Black middle class professionals who are serious about working with me on being on my management team so that together we can build Grekai of Chicago, then I can be in a better position to hire you. You know what I'm saying? So that way we can fight against this stuff at the local, state, and federal level. That's the way that's that way we're getting around this stuff legally. They are using cultural and religious themes to hide behind their agenda. They are using terms like Christian values, European descent, traditional Western heritage. Notice how they are avoiding using racist language. Also, they are avoiding using public advertisement about housing. They don't advertise their business to the public sector. They only offer housing to their members. So that way they can say, well, we're not subject to the fair housing laws. Instead, they use word of mouth as a marketing tool. Black people, we got to understand the enforcement of the fair housing laws. Fair housing doesn't automatically prevent somebody from creating a discriminatory community. It requires somebody to file a complaint, and then a government agency has to investigate that complaint. And if nobody sues or if nobody files a complaint, then nothing happens. And they go into these little rural isolated areas with limited federal scrutiny. That's not a lot of civil rights watchdog groups like it was back in the day. So there's less public attention about these things. These are perfect places for white supremacists to set up these enclaves in rural areas. We got to understand that. Law enforcement is complicit with a lot of these people because some of them are a part of this group. A lot of law enforcement sympathize with these white supremacist Aryan Brotherhood. A lot of these people use the First Amendment as cover. They claim freedom of association, freedom of religion under the First Amendment. They can legally argue that their group is based on shared values rather than race. Then, when it's clear it's racial aspects. So they know how to get around the loopholes. After all, the white supremacist financial elites make all the laws and it's their system. They know how to get their legal team together. If you have an intentional community or a homestead, those are terms you can use to exempt yourself from housing codes or traditional zoning laws. They use those terms to create these exclusive spaces without triggering federal investigation. They won't act like the typical landlord or real estate companies. Again, nobody has filed a lawsuit against these communities. So the JOD, Department of Justice, or HUD, they need somebody to attempt to buy land and then be denied under racial discrimination before they can take legal action. Black Americans don't have any interest in living in those hostile environments just to test a law. But it's important that their racist community gets shut down. Just like what happened during the civil rights movement. A lot of people were thinking, why are Black Americans trying to eat at white restaurants? It was not about eating at those restaurants, it was about being able to move around freely without being discriminated against in places where we pay taxes. Reverend Dr. Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. told us how to fight against the white supremacist financial elites by hitting them in their pockets through the Montgomery bus boycott. That's what it's all about. It wasn't about them trying to eat at white restaurant. It was about them being able to move freely in their own country that our ancestors built from the ground up, going where you want to go in your own country, in the country we pay taxes to. We shouldn't have to go through a back door or sit at the back of a bus. The civil rights generation was absolutely right in terms of tearing down those discriminatory laws and changing those anti-black policies. The sad part was that white business benefited from the civil rights movement due to social integration and cultural assimilation. We gave up a lot of stuff that we own. For example, the Negro League. That was something that was important that was founded by Black Americans, but they was willing to give that up in order to have just one black person, yes, Jackie Robinson, to play, for um, a white baseball team. So I'm just saying. I found another article from Sky News entitled, quote, Whites Only. They have attached a 28-minute video to read the full article and watch the video clip. Just click, sorry, just go to my Medium transcript located in the comment section below this audio podcast. Click on the link and scroll down to show and prove. The article talks about how this white only community is based around shared European ancestry. Again, they're doing a South African style Orania here in America, which I believe should not exist. They can have Orania in Europe, but like I said before, it's ridiculous for Orania to exist in a black nation that experienced apartheid from the former colonizers. I'm just saying. There's a book by James W. Lowsome, quote, Sundown Towns, a hidden dimension of American racism, unquote. Sundown towns, also known as sunset towns or gray towns, are all white municipalities, municipalities or neighborhoods in the United States that practice a form of racial segregation by excluding non whites through some combination of discriminatory local laws, intimidation, or violence. The term came from signs posted that, quote, colored people, unquote, had to leave town by sundown. The practice was not limited to southern states. Northern states also carried out these racist practice toward black travelers and residents of nearby towns. After Reconstruction era, thousands of towns and counties across the United States became sundown localities as part of the imposition of Jim Crow laws and other segregationist practice. This system, this systematic forms of racism official official town practices or practiced by the community real estate agency through racial covenants governing who could buy or rent property. In other words, the policies was implemented through intimidation. This intimidation occurred in a number of ways, including harassment by law enforcers. Although racial restrictive covenants were struck down by the Supreme Court in 1948, Shelley versus Kramer, many towns continue to exclude Black Americans in the 21st century. The difference between Black Americans and South Africans um, is that we view white supremacy differently. Black South Africans view white supremacy as a thing of the past. They don't understand that the reason why they are in the condition that they are currently dealing with is because the former colonizers still own 80% of the land. Whoever controls the economy controls the land. My fight for Black American is coming to an end soon, as I'm able to get brave and smart, like minded Black Americans beyond Chicago and brave and smart, like minded African immigrants across the United States of America to work with me by helping me get my revised book on that bestsellers list and by them joining my management team to help me run my film project. That's all I need. Because again, it's just me and Sister Renee on the reel. And this is a Nehemiah assignment. And again, I created this platform to broadcast my vision and plan to like minded Black Americans beyond Chicago. That's who I'm trying. I'm trying to help our people. Work with me while I'm alive. Don't wait until I am dead. I don't want to be doing this another 33 years. This is a doggone shame, frustrating. And that's part of what my film is going to be about. Like you're trying, I mean, it, like I say, I'm doing the best that I can. Get my message out there. Oh, don't it? The dope man have more support from the Black community than me. And he's destroying the community. He's doing the same thing that the Ku Klux Klan is doing. But it's worse because he's melanated and he's in the community. And he's the cause of the death of our youth. But it is what it is. Lord, just give me strength to endure. I just wish that you would connect me with the right people that have the means to help me move forward. But nevertheless, let your will be done. I don't understand it. I don't like it, but I'm going to do my best to carry out my part. Because this is what I want to be remembered for, trying to do something, not some dude that's just sitting up here running off at the mouth. Those who agree with my vision and plan to help improve Black Chicago, make yourself known to me. And again, don't wait until I am dead. Work with me while I'm alive. Those who will join my film project team will go down in history with me and Sister Renee. My goal is for us to make a quality Black empowerment film that will reach our Black youth and our African youth across the globe. Again, GERCAM is going to challenge Pan-Africanism. Pan-Africanism ain't doing jack for anyone. That's just a name, as far as I'm concerned. Yeah, they've been out 160 years, but all they do is just run off at the mouth. We're not about that at all. I wrote and published my story in order to generate capital as well as to recruit Black people and African people to join my management team. But I want qualified, like-minded, so that we can move my Christian business from behind the internet into the big screen to let the Black world know who we are and what we're trying to do for our people that's trapped in American ghettos, specifically in Black Chicago. But since Black Chicago is acting funny style with me for the past 33 years, I have no choice but to turn my business over to my management team once I have them in place and once we get this film project fully funded and made. And the reason why, because I want to prove to Black South Africans that I mean business. I'm going to apply for dual citizenship. I'm going to set up my Christian business in South Africa, known as Gurkhai of South Africa. And I'm also going to apply for dual citizenship there. We also we we're also going to create our second film project known as quote African Liberator Battle Against the Colonized Mindset. That's going to be our next film, and that's going to be made in South Africa. White Americans doesn't want Black Americans to leave America in mass because of our $1 trillion as a collective spending power. If only the 92% of Black women who voted for Kamala Harris and raised $1 million within 3 hours on Zoom would use that same energy to help get my film project fully funded and made, we will see Black Chicago turn around within a 2-year period. I encourage African immigrants from 10 African nations. I lost my reading spot. Bear with me. I encourage African immigrants from 10 African nations who will join me in getting our film project fully funded and made for us to work together so that we can build the best African American business within the United States, and that is the Grassroots Community Activist Institute of Chicago. Those African immigrants are going to be from the following African nation. Please stand up. South Africa, Kenya, Ethiopia, Tanzania, Uganda, Angola, Liberia, Ivory Coast, Ghana, and Nigeria. I need your help. Black Chicagoans and acting funny style with me for the past 33 years. Ain't nothing changed on my end. You know what I'm saying? That's how come I'm created this platform. I'm trying to connect with other like-minded Black Americans beyond Chicago. I wrote the vision and made it plain, and I stand on that. I stand on business. So that's all I'm saying. Gurkhai of Chicago will offer an interactive space for Black Americans, African immigrants, Afro-Brazilians, Afro-Latinos, Afro-Caribbeans, Black millennials, Generation Z. Non-Black sympathizers are welcome to join us, not as groups, but as individuals, because I want to know where each person stands as it pertains to lineage-based cash payment reparations for descendants of American slaves. If you agree or disagree, that's all I want to know. Yeah or no. They say they disagree, they can't be a part of my business. My business is membership based. Everybody will be screened that come through our doors once we get this business up and running here in Chicago. I'm running my business the way I run my home, drama free. Gurkhai of Chicago will provide quality programs and service to benefit the African American community and the African immigrant community. Gurkhai of Chicago is about separating ourselves from the enemy within. Those are con artists, Black boule, degenerates, Democrat shields, hardened criminals, pedophiles, off-code Negroes, and urban terrorists. Once Gurkhai members feel Gurkhai of Chicago, then we will hold mandatory orientations for local Chicago residents on the west side of Chicago. Each person must sign the community pledge, pass our criminal background checks, and submit their thumbprint to be placed in our database. We're doing that so that way we can keep tabs on who's doing what within the business. If anyone, for example, want to come up in this business and want to try to change our focus and want to try to promote that LGBT, I'm just using that as an example, they're going to get 2 warnings. If they do it the third time, their name, photo ID, and address will be placed on our Judas list for everybody in our group to see, and they will be barred for life. This is how I get down. Laugh at that, Black America. Laugh at that, Black Chicago. Because over here, I stand on what I'm saying. And that's why I'm trying to do a film about my experience. I want the whole black world to know my story. And I want the whole black world to know that over here, we're not playing games. We're separating ourselves from those that don't mean our racial group any good. Work with those that want more out of life. And that's just how it is. But again, I don't want to waste the rest of my life trying to get this thing up and running for people that just don't care. You know what I'm saying? Is what it is. Um, I don't want to be bogged down with Black American issues. So when I go over to Africa, I'm only going to focus on African issues because Black America had 33 years to work with me, and I'm still on first base. That's not cool at all. That's a doggone shame, but hey, I'm still standing. I don't like what I'm going through. Ain't nothing changing on my end. I'm not gonna change those uh what I said. We're gonna separate ourselves from off-code Negroes, con artists, the black boulets, hardened criminals. So that's just how it is. Uh, this business will be membership based, and I'm only responsible for the CAM members. Those who are not a part of us, we will pray for them, show them tough love, and keep it moving. We will cover Austin, Garfield Park, and North Lawndale. Eventually, we will expand to the south side of Chicago. Our objective is to make Chicago a model city for the rest of the nation. When American slavery ended in 1865, those backstabbers also left the plantation with us. Now, those same people are in our families, and some of them are our friends. I'm up against a 400-year-old slave mentality. I'm not getting pushback from white America. I'm getting pushback from Black America. And again, I believe this is on a spiritual level, as far as I'm concerned. This is spiritual warfare because I am called to build the best African American business within the United States. And again, that is the Grassroots Community Activist Institute of Chicago. This is why I created this platform to broadcast my vision and plan beyond Black Chicago. Our mission is to eradicate urban violence in Chicago through art, culture, commerce, spiritual development, and hosting African tours. We will promote economic opportunities in the African American community and in as well as in the African immigrant community by being an advocate and an economic base. We will offer different membership levels: basic membership, networking membership, and entrepreneur membership. The Kaya of Chicago will be multi-purpose facility consisting of a nonprofit sector as well as a for-profit sector operating under 9 functions under one roof. One, a social service component. Two, a spiritual component, which is going to be optional for secular people. Three, a political component. Four, an entertainment component. Five, entrepreneur component. Six, health and wellness component. Seven, Black grassroots media component. Eight, science and technology component. And nine, travel and tourism component. Under the for profit business, it will be known as the Red Zone. We will own and control our own community grocery store, community healthcare clinic, and community housing. And that's how I'm going to make my bread and butter. And also, that's going to help create jobs for our people in the community. We will offer state of the art recreational center, which will have bowling, high rope adventures, captivating game rooms featuring the latest video and amusements, stylish billboards, energetic dance rooms, and quality restaurants, various businesses, on site childcare, and on site music recording studio for our members and students making documentary films and stage plays. In addition, we will host family friendly activities, including combination deals, birthday parties, weddings, and corporate parties or events. We will practice group economics in real time by pooling our resources together. This will be group economics in action. We will offer rental space for our members who have gone through our business classes. Under the nonprofit cooperative, this will be known as the Green Zone. Grecaio Chicago will be governed by an advisory board. Grecaio Chicago will be membership based and operate for the mutual benefit of our members. Also, any earnings we make are returned to our members in the forms of lower prices through our quality programs and services. We will assist our members with their utility bills depending on our budget and sponsorship. We will offer light groceries through our food pantry and tutoring services for Black youth and their families. Um, we will also hire our Black youth and African youth um, and give them stipends to be in our Black empowerment films so that way they can feed their families. We will also offer a second chance program for ex offenders of nonviolent crimes, former gang members, and homeless individuals within our community. Grekai is about strengthening the Black family and the African family. Grekai is about providing healing for Black Americans from this slave mentality. It's about healing for African immigrants from the colonized mindset. We will learn and respect each other's culture and learn how to do business together so that way we can replicate this business on the African continent. That's all I'm trying to do. Grecaio Chicago will help benefit Africa because we will form an alliance with African immigrants within the United States of America. In each African nation that we will visit, we will match Black entrepreneurs with African entrepreneurs, Black artists with African artists, so that way we can do international trade among our people um, on the African continent. We also plan on setting up local chapters in each African nation that we visit. Our objective is to unite middle class, working class, and underclass Africans with the diaspora and vice versa, make our presence known in urban areas as well as in the rural areas. The CAM members will build the Grassroots Community Activist Institute. I created my online talk show, Help Stop the Genocide in American Ghettos podcast, to give people on my friends list an opportunity to promote their talents and skills. I have proven my commitment throughout the years. I will be sharing the word of God and ministering for the glory of God for his manifestation. God is faithful and he shall be glorified in this business. I'm on a mission from God to share my plan and vision with those who would listen on how GRCAM members would take the lead in turning around our inner cities, starting here in the city of Chicago and eventually on the African continent, make our presence known in the African slums to turn those slums around if given a chance. Off cold Black Americans are boycotting African business in August, yet they won't boycott Asian business, East Indian business, or Arab business. We have Asian immigrants that have their business in our neighborhoods that we support, but they have been very disrespectful and show poor customer service. For example, and I already showed you all this earlier. You got to click on that link, but I have a video clip from a year ago about a brother who went inside one of their restaurants and they messed up his food order, so he demanded his money back. Um, and again, I recommend that you all go to my Medium transcript located in the comment section below this audio podcast. Click on the link and scroll down to show and prove. The name of the TikTok video is called, quote, exactly why we have to stop supporting these folks, unquote. These people come into our neighborhood, set up business. We patronize them. They post signs about no refund. I don't do business with anyone who says I can't get a refund. Look at the level of disrespect. Notice that this Asian immigrant woman told the brother that he should go back to his country. And like he said, he is in his country. A lot of immigrants think that we are immigrants too. They seen them, we seen them lock customers in their stores, jump on them over the years, but the black community don't boycott their businesses, whether it's a nail shop, beauty supply, or restaurant. I remember an Asian man punched a black woman in the mouth, and some brother showed up to boycott. The Asian man gave a discount, and black women lined up to get the 50% off after a black woman was physically assaulted by. And this, again, is off code behavior. And this is why black Americans don't get the respect that we deserve. What we saw in this video is disrespect. It has to be across the board. All immigrant groups, American groups, even with our own brothers and sisters throughout the diaspora. If any group disrespect our lineage, descendants of American slaves slash freedmen, then we will boycott your business nationwide. And that's, well, over here in Gurkham, that's what we want to be on. But like I say, it's so many of our brothers and sisters that's off code. So, but like I say, it's very frustrating. But I have to continue doing this until I'm able to raise the funds for this film project, and that's what I'm on. Don't You're not doing this for me because I don't have any kids. This world don't deserve my seed. That's how come I didn't have any children. I'm doing this for you all that have kids, and I care about the black youth. That's how come I've been pushing this thing for the past 33 years. Um, Black Americans were not boycotting Target for disrespect. They were boycotting Target because they were told to, because of DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion. If it only benefited white women, if you do the research about who really benefits from the program, DEI initiatives aim to create hiring practices in the workforce, schools, and other organizations by valuing differences and addressing systematic barriers. It's because Target removed DEI. These people have been disrespecting us for years. Remember Latasha Herlings. If we're going if we're gonna protect our neighborhoods, we gotta protect our women and children first. CAM members need to stand up, work with me, and get in this film project fully funded and made so that the Black world will know who we are and what we're trying to do for our people that's trapped in American ghettos. The grassroots community activist movement aimed to compete against Pan Africanism because Pan Africanism has failed our people, and a majority of our leaders are in the pockets of the white supremacist financial elites. This is why things don't get done for Black people and African people. The white supremacist financial elites know that if Black American boycott their businesses, their business will be shut down. Black Americans will make it a trend to boycott racist companies, and other groups will follow, even though behind closed doors, they might agree with them, but they want to protect their name and reputation. It seems like they want their own Orania here in America. If I want a fortress, first of all, I'm going to look at the demographics and I'm going to look at the demographics of the country. Based on the demographics, the country has more people who are non-white than those who are white. The best thing for me, if I wanted to build a white, if I was white and wanted to build a white fortress, I would just go back to my homeland, Europe. Here's the problem. If a Black American works for DoorDash or Amazon, they have to go bring an order out there. I deem those places as dangerous, especially at night. I wouldn't go there. Those places are a haven for white supremacists. They are trying to create development based on racial exclusion, not only contrary to our laws, but also run counter to the spirit of who we are and what we're trying to be. Look, we're not going back to legal segregation or Jim Crow. I've been preaching about Black Americans building our own schools, hospitals, movie theaters, grocery stores, etc. I want y'all to understand that these little white supremacist enclaves are very dangerous. Truth be told, they are already got de facto white only communities. A majority of white communities around the country are pretty much white only. They just don't say it explicitly. They use coded words to whiten up those certain zoning policies. They practice out of the average, their price range is out of the average Black Americans. They use discrimination so that Black Americans can get certain jobs in most areas, certain school districts to keep Black children out. They have all types of policies to keep uh, Black Americans out of certain areas. This is why it's dangerous. Number one, because they want to normalize legal segregation again under a new name, international, intentional community. In other words, the new Jim Crow. And if they can get away with it, then that will set a precedence for racial exclusion being legitim re, will be re-legitimized. They're claiming they're calling it cultural preservation. They're creating these racial armed safe havens for their militia groups. These are not innocent places where they're just sitting around planting flowers. No, they're going to arm white nationalist groups and get them charged up to harm black people. So allow them to legally gather, train, and organize in these isolated areas, that's that's a future building site for paramilitary activities. And if something goes down, they're, they'll be the first ones running down to a black neighborhood to target black people. In these little areas, they act as recruitment and indoctrination zones. These white only places always have some type of violence, and that's the problem. What's going to happen if some black person mistakenly wanders off in the night? If somebody gets lost and needs to make a phone call? We've seen a few videos where some random black teenagers knock on somebody's door. They almost lost their life because a white person shot at them. If a black person enters a white only members club, then they would be considered trespassing, and white person can justify blowing that person's brains out. No, that ain't cool. I ain't with that. Again, this is setting a legal precedence here, and then they would be emboldened and anti-Black aggression towards us. If these people are allowed to get away with this publicly without any consequences, that sends a signal to racists everywhere. You can be openly anti-Black, and that's the problem. They frame themselves as refugee communities from diversity. All this immigration and urban crime, that's white victimhood narrative that Blackness and multiculturalism is a threat to white survival. For them, it's all about preserving the white race. And that's really what this is all about. When we try to create our own Black towns, then here comes the white supremacist financial elites to sabotage what we got going on over here. They use eminent domain excuses or urban gentrification excuses to prevent Black Americans from building our own communities or neighborhoods. If it's something that's going to be successful, they got all types of trick bag language that they can use to get our stuff because it's all about it's all about the deprivation of resources from Black Americans. If you want to do that, it's fine, but you give us the same resources. I remember reading James W. Lowen's book, quote, Sundown Towns, a hidden dimension of American racism. According to him, white Americans would advertise these private communities in newspapers. Hey, come on to this new suburban area. We got great houses. There are no Negroes, unquote. There's violence that comes with these all white enclaves every time. These are going to be militia enclaves. Their goal is to take this case to the Supreme Court. White America has been practicing ethnic cleansing of Black Americans for 400 years, from Black Wall Street to Rosewood and more other communities across the United States. Springfield, Missouri, if you do the research, look within the last 25 years, they have been lynchings there. The reason we need civil rights laws is because of the threat of white supremacy. Their hatred towards us is rooted in history. Gurkam will deal with our issues to suit us as we see fit. We are talking about a group of people who have a documented history of domestic terrorism, brutalization, and genocide. For example, a majority of our towns and communities were bombed or flooded by the white supremacist financial elites. We had 90% of our real estate stolen from us in a 60-year period. Our lands were taken over under eminent domain, in which case that was them violating our private properties owned by Black citizens, and the US government came up with fabricated reasons as to why they needed it more than those private citizens. If you're going to be able to have your own towns, we're unable to have our own towns, then that's discrimination on record. I want the CAM members to really understand how culturally significant we are. If we don't co-sign something, there's hidden agenda won't work. The courts will look at intent and consent. So when these white supremacists claim that they want separation, that undermines their claim of discrimination. If you don't resist, that means you agree with it. They want us to normalize segregation in terms of safety and stability. Safe neighborhoods, community values exclude us. And if we don't push back, this coded language becomes standardized. Then future generations grow up thinking that these divisions are natural and justified and even beneficial. Many of these white enclaves out here were made white because they chased out the black residents. These racial enclaves all around the country cleanse a lot of towns and cities. It's getting real out here. The liberals have been able to get a lot of black Americans to fall back from black issues. I predict that America will have another civil war, this time the white supremacist financial elites against all non-white groups, blacks, Middle Easterns, Asians, and Latinos. I think this is God's karma to them for all the evil they have caused in the world for the past 400 years. They think that we don't belong here. They are delusional, but unfortunately, they still have a lot of societal dominance, and we have to be able to outsmart these white supremacist financial elites at their own game. It's been real. We covered a real topic that needs to be talked about on the podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, please leave a public comment about the topic in the comment section below this audio podcast and share with your friends on all social media sites you are on. This will help get the ball rolling. Thank you all for listening. We greatly appreciate it. Please put me on blast by telling all of your friends and family to listen to our content on our YouTube page. I'm going to send a challenge out to everybody that's listening to this audio podcast. I need you all to support our film project so that we can move beyond cyberspace and get our story on the big screens to let the Black world know who we are and what we're trying to do for our people that's trapped in American ghettos, starting in Chicago. Quote, Hood Liberator Made in Chicago, the war against Willie Lynch begins. You can be a part of this historic docudrama by contributing to our campaign, either on our GoFundMe page or our PayPal Giving Fund page or our Buy Me a Coffee page. This will help with marketing, promotion, clearance, legal, and general expenses. I would like to thank everyone who have contributed or will contribute to support our film project on our GoFundMe page, our Buy Me a Coffee page, or if you're a U.S. citizen, then you can use our PayPal Giving Fund page as a tax write-off because this is a legitimate 501c3 nonprofit faith-based community advocacy organization. You can also purchase items from our virtual store or purchase my revised book. The ebook is $9.99, or the softcover book is $15 plus shipping and handling. We appreciate your support. You can find all of the links below this audio podcast in the comments section. Thank you all for listening to our YouTube live or the replay. Thank you for subscribing, liking, and sharing. I want to thank all of you for listening to our audio podcast on Spotify. If you are new to Help Stop the Genocide in American Ghettos podcast, welcome to our safe space where we discuss Black issues and African issues. We do this every week. This will conclude our audio podcast for today. We will see you on the next episode. Peace and blessings.